Hey guys, I'm Rita. In today's episode, I will guide you through QuickFile accounting software. And the best way for me to guide you through this tutorial would be if I would take on a role of a real business owner. And I have decided to be a makeup artist. I actually have a salon. Also, I have 2 team members who help me to run my business. So first things first, let's register my business on QuickFile accounting software. So let's set up my business on QuickFile. To set up business on QuickFile, firstly you need to access QuickFile web page, and let's click on sign up now. Here you need to enter your name of account. So in my case it will be RK Ltd, and click go. Now we need to provide information about our business. So firstly, select business type. Be mindful about business type because once you have selected it, you will be not able to change it at a later time. So in my case, I will have limited company, but if you are sole trader, partnership, charity or landlord, select one of those from this drop-down list. If you have company number, like for limited company, add company number details here, and QuickFile will automatically find details about your company from company's house and fill in. Firstly, we'll fill in details about myself, and then there is second step where will be address details need to be filled in as well. So in my case, I will leave blank because for test purposes, I don't have company number yet. If I add 7 digits, it will try to find. Oh, and this is not taken. Okay, so I will use this my as company number. First name, I will have Rita, and my surname. And I need to add a business name. And profession, I'm makeup artist. There is limited digits available to write up, so use this space wisely, keep it short. Okay, my client area will be RK Ltd, which is fine. And now I need to provide login details, so email address and strong password. And then you will need to repeat your password again. If it will match, this will turn in green and it will show that it's matching. Otherwise, it will show that password is not matching. Okay, so let's fill in details. Firstly, I will add my email address. And then I will have my details of password. Okay, and save and continue. Okay, now I need to provide a little bit more details about business. If information would be pulled through company's house, your address would be filled in automatically. In my case, I need to add address details manually. So I will have Green Street in Green Town, and postcode is here. If you are VAT registered business, tick this box, provide VAT number, select method, either you're using cash accounting method or accruals accounting method, and if you will use a flat rate VAT method. So if you are not VAT registered business, don't tick this box, otherwise you will need to provide details. Okay, I'm not VAT registered business, so I have deselected this box. You can provide also phone number, web address, and if you have referral code. So if someone referred you to use QuickFile, you can add it there. I'm not a robot, and I have read and accept terms of service and privacy policy. Once you have filled in details above and done your selections, click on create account. Now we need to click on this green button to access our dashboard and our QuickFile accounting software. So here we are on QuickFile accounting software environment. To quickly access your details, on right hand side there is name of a business. So when I click on it, I can see my account number. I can change my dashboard layout if I wish to here. There is settings we will cover next section. Then billing information, services and subscriptions, and this is area where we can actually sign out from our accounting software. So we have set up my business, in my case, on QuickFile accounting software. Okay, registration complete. So I am set up now on QuickFile accounting software and I'm ready to go. But am I? Not really yet. There is one section what we need to cover before we start to issue invoices and record transactions, and it is called settings section. I know it sounds kind of not engaging and interesting section to cover. However, I want to make sure that I have enabled all features what I need for my business to successfully run from QuickFile accounting software, and plus to make sure that my information, so my business information, is correct and up to date. But if you still don't feel engaged to watch this section, don't worry, you can go to the description section below and there is today's tutorial itinerary. Click on the timestamp and you will be brought to the section which you are interested more to watch. So let's go through settings section now. So let's look at settings section now. So firstly, I should mention that we little bit covered up under this Rita K Limited that there is settings section. So this settings section is kind of narrowed to key settings what you need to access. So basic settings, advanced settings, team management and design settings. But you can access the same settings from account settings section and when you click on all settings. So under this section there is all settings available, not only key settings but more settings, like if you need to enable multi-currencies, or maybe you need to backup files, or you want to clear information from accounting software. So this is an area where you can access it. So firstly, let's start with company settings, because this company settings is the same settings what we accessed from this section here. Okay, so firstly there is two main tabs which I want to cover under this part. So firstly there is basic settings. There's all information about company including account size. So currently I'm on XS, extra small package, but it will change depending on how many I have files uploaded and plus mainly how many transactions I have made in a 12 months period. The more transactions I have made in 12 months period, the package will change to up to extra large, which is paid for package. Okay, here is also my company information. So if your next year end date is different than what system have pre-defaulted, click here and amend what would be your next year end date. Yeah. Also you can update profession and company address, but most importantly here you can enable VAT information and add your VAT number. So if you become VAT registered business, this is where you need to come and add VAT registered business details. If you want to change your date for month, my currently is as date, month, year, but if you want to start with, for example, month, date and followed by year, this is where you can come and amend your preferred date format. Yeah. Client areas, this would stay as system have provided when I registered first. And next section is advanced settings. This is very important because you can enable features which you would use in accounting software. So for example, if you don't use purchase orders, or you will not want to use purchase orders, leave it as off. Otherwise, click on and enable. So in my case, I want to use purchase orders. And also I want to set up recurring expenses, purchases, bills or supplier invoices, call how you want it, and I want to enable this one as well. There is option to fast tag receipts. Tag, it's kind of mean like reconciling. I will leave it on. Post net wages to balance sheet only, so I don't have employees. I don't recruit in my or employ in my company. I have subcontractors, so I will keep it off. Name invoice on creation, I will leave it as off. Update issue date on invoice send, I will say yes. Show mobile friendly invoices, I will enable it as well. Combine direct expenses with cost of sales on profit and loss report, I will say yes. So we need to go and enable which ones we would use in our business. Support partial client payments, I will select yes. Enforce client login, not really. Experimental dashboard, okay. And experimental client statements, I will select on as well. Okay, next one is period with which to check bank import duplicates, and I can select if within 1 day each way, 2 days. I will say exact the same date only. And also search range on bank tagging. Tagging is meant reconciling. QuickFile calls a little bit differently, so you can select what range you want to choose, either days, weeks, months. I will keep 1 month. Okay, supply and payment slip name I will keep as a payment. You can call it as a remittance advice. It's up to you. You can rename it all these places as you wish. Okay, and then there is a cash register. If you have cash register or cash sales, you can select where it will need to go. In this case, I have only one petty cash, then I will keep it as it is. And cash register card depositing account, so you can select when there will be bank allowed to go. Okay, and sales nominal code, in my case it will be general sales. I have no different income stream. So if you do any changes above and enabling features what you will use, don't forget to save changes. Okay, so changes have been saved. Next is team management. Here you can add additional users and select their permissions. So either you want to give administrator account or and also to give option to create login passwords automatically and details for new members. And once you send an invite, you will be able to change their settings or where they can be allowed to go or use from your accounting software. So it's why it's called privileges. Okay, and then design settings. This is more about client area, invoice and statement customization. So that's more like personalization, where you can add logo as well and choose invoice layout, different layout, or maybe create your layout as you wish to. So under account settings, what else we have? Here is also team management, the same team management section what we had under company settings. So you can add additional users to your software. Multi-currency settings, if you will use multi-currencies, select enable and select what currencies you want to use in your accounting software. Don't forget to click save once you do any changes. Invoice style, email settings, system design. These were part of company settings last section, and it's like personalization of all system issued invoices, emails and designs, of course, how you can change them as you wish. QuickFile billing, so you can access all your invoices. So for example, if you use QuickFile provided services, for example snail mail, which is meant that they would print out invoices and send out for you on behalf of you, then you can see all billing here. So I have currently credit of 120 and I can top up it so I can continue using their services. Okay, then there is credit control. If you want to enable credit control, you would need to come here and enable credit control and provide the details. So if you want to send reminders to your customers, this is a place where you can come and set it up. Otherwise, keep it disabled. Okay. Then you can clear your data, customer data, supplier data, including invoices. As well as delete account under this section. So there is a bin, but you need to use this option with caution. So you need to make sure that you know what you're doing. If you want to delete your account, delete, but that means that you will not be able to recover information. Okay, there is weekly, monthly backups. It's suggested for you to keep constant or frequent backups. So in case if something happens with system or it gets corrupted, you can always use backup to restore data. Data import wizards, if you have long lists of customers, suppliers and their invoices to enter on QuickFiles. For example, if you're moving from different accounting software or from spreadsheets, you can actually use templates and import information on QuickFile. And that would include also multi-line invoices if you need to, and trial balance. Also, there is separate sections for importing trial balance and setting up opening balances manually here as well under all settings. Account log date, for example, if you have reconciled your bank and your accounts up to 15th of a month, then you can come here and log information up to 15 of that particular month, and that would not allow you to enter any information in previous periods. So that works like a protection so that your data and information not get messed up. Okay. Management information and year-end process. There is an area where there will be end-year process what you would need to follow. So QuickFile provides these two areas to access, and for you to would guide you through step by step what you need to follow. Also, you can enable two-factor authentication, there is auto archive settings, and you can also configure privacy settings if you want, what you want to receive as a notifications from QuickFile, and etc. Audit section, this will be handy if you have multiple users, so you will be able to see what emails been sent out from system, and also it would log any events, what's been done by users, any activity, transactions posted, and etc. And third-party integrations, there is multiple available options to go through. The two what I want to mention, one is e-payment, so you can enable online payments via PayPal, WordPay, Go Cardless, or Sage Pay if you wish to, so customers can pay by clicking on links or going through links and paying invoices, not by bank transfers but actually using online payment solutions available. And second one, you can also do Dropbox integration, and in that case you can keep backups and receipts in your Dropbox account so you don't get lost information in case if something happens with QuickFile's account. So this covers settings sections. There's lots of settings to cover, but if you need to like I said, maybe multi-currency to use in your business, you would go to account settings, click on all settings, and you can access all settings here. So in this section we covered settings. My business has been set up now on QuickFile accounting software, and we went through settings section as well. But before we jump to record our invoices or issue our invoices, we need to make sure that we have bank set up. So how I can add a new bank account, including my cash account, if it's not added, and add an opening balances. Plus, if you decide to record different income streams or different costs of sales streams, how we can add a new codes to our chart of accounts. So maybe you have here the term as list of codes. So in this section, I will cover all about banking, plus how we can amend chart of accounts. Let's look at banking first, and then we will follow up with chart of accounts. So when we will go to banking section and we will click very first time on banking, we will be requested to actually select our bank, and there is long list of banks to select from, and in my case I have selected type of a bank called other, but don't worry, you can always go and change it. To do amendments to bank, we can click on options and look at account settings, but before I jump there, so once you have selected banks, there will be 5 bank accounts already provided. The ones which we don't need, we can click on options and actually delete or hide. So in my case, bank reserve account I will not use and I will delete it. Okay, so it's been removed. There is current account, there is petty cash account, credit card account, director's loan account. So I will have no director's loan account in use. So under options, I can hide this account. To unhide any of accounts, click on Options, Sort Hide Accounts, and you can see this is hidden. So when you click on Options, Show Account, and it will show up on a list. Okay, let's hide this one account. So let's go back to our current account. So under Options, when I click on Account Settings, we need to fill in details or provide details. So firstly, as I mentioned, bank name can be changed. So when you click on this drop-down list, there's loads of bank accounts provided. Select one which you want to use, maybe Barclays, Coconut, Halifax. Coconut actually, I think so, stopped trading now. Okay, as a current account. So next one, we need to provide account name. So I will say Rita K, current account, account number, and sort code without dashes. Okay, and plus this is a place where I can select and add an opening balance. So in my case, I have £2,000 as of 1st of July 2022, and click Update Details. So now when I go back to my bank account, there is opening balance of 2,000 under Rita K current account. Okay, petty cash, it's the same way. Click Options, Account Settings, and firstly I want to update it to Rita K. So I want to change the name, and also I have opening balance of £150 for my cash account. And when I go to date, I can update date when this opening balance has been, like when I want to record. Okay, and update details. So if you just opened your bank account, you will have £0 as a balance. And of course, if you as a director would invest into bank account, then you would do a bank transfer and record it accordingly on 1st, 2nd or 3rd July, like in my case, yeah. But I had already in bank account money, so bank account was opened in May actually, yeah. But we'll get back about how this been 2000 recorded on our books later. Okay, so now I have opening balance for my current account and also on petty cash. Credit card I will not update because actually I will not use credit card a lot in my business, but if you use, then there is options as well in account settings. You can update details about this credit card if you wish to. Okay, so if you need to add a new bank account, click on Create and then select which account you want to actually add. Maybe you want e-payment service account to add if you need to, or maybe you have another bank account. Click on this, add bank details. So for example, I will select Bank of America. Then you can select if it's current account, reserve account, any from these of drop-down lists provided. So I will say current account, add the name, account number, sort code, and select details applicable. Okay, so this is how you can add a new bank. So I have set up my bank and my petty cash now. So how about chart of accounts? So chart of accounts is a place where I can amend, hide or add or remove codes what I would not use in my business. So to access chart of accounts, we need to go to report section and there is chart of accounts. So chart of accounts are split in sections. So first section is sales, and these are the codes if you would use codes. Then it's purchases and direct expenses, 2 sections, and then overheads, most commonly known as like expenses, like you can see there is oil, gas, fuel, oil, hotels, and etc. So there's lots of categories available. All categories that got red cross next to it, you can actually delete these accounts. The ones which got gray accounts, these are locked by system and you will be not able to actually delete from a system. If you would post something or add transactions on accounting software, for example depreciation, this account would be locked and you would be not able to delete as well. There is also assets and liabilities codes. If you click on this plus, so you can see whole list of your assets and whole list of your capital and reserves. Also assets would include liabilities codes. Okay, so now how I can add a new code. So for example, if I look, I have general sales and lots of different kind of sales of assets, commissions, royalties, and etc. And if I look on purchases, I have general purchases, and then I have cost of sales but in labor, but not cost of sales as in materials. So how I can add new code? So click on create new account, and then you can select where you want to categorize. So in my case, I will have under purchases, so it goes under general purchases, and account name will be cost of sales, and I will have materials. Okay, and click save. Create new code, purchases, and I will have cost of sales services, for example, and save. So now if I look at purchases, these two new codes got orange settings icons, so we can actually modify accounts. If I would try to, let's say, modify general purchases code, I will be not able to do because it's locked by system. If I look on materials imported, it's grayed out. I cannot change description, name, or like information here, or allocate under different category. I still can delete these codes if I wish to, but I'm not able to amend details. And my two added cost of sales materials and services are available here. So for example, if under purchases, I don't want, or I will not use all these codes, I want to only keep the ones which I will use, the easiest way is to click on more options and actually they're saying remove, so QuickFile says remove, but it's actually hide. So how I can hide codes under purchases? So click on remove and select code. So purchases is in group 5. So I will not use this code for materials imported, packaging, discounts, carriage, okay, duty, transport insurance, opening and closing stock, because I don't manage inventory, and click save. So as you could see, all my long list have reduced only to 5 codes to use. As I said, if I want, I can delete these codes. So the ones which I created, I will just delete for these test purposes. They'll be gone, so I have only 3 codes to use. If you want to add back, click on more options and add popular accounts. And then you can select accounts, which ones you want to add. So in my case, I will select all these purchases codes and I will add them back. Click save. And all purchase codes have been added back. So this is how we can modify and amend chart of accounts or list of codes on our QuickFile accounting software. So this section covered banking, how we can add new bank accounts and how we can modify our current bank accounts, as well as how we can amend or update chart of accounts. I'm so excited. Today I received my own brand first samples of lipstick. And my new supplier, if I will approve this one, will be blush limited. So, okay, I have 4 samples. Sample number 4. Ooh, that's quite bright red. Sample number 2. This kind of lighter color. Okay, this is sample number 1. This is not bad as well. And this is number 3. Quite light color as well. So the darker one is number 4. They're all looking so good. So I need to actually issue purchase order to my supplier for these sample lipsticks. So how I can add new suppliers and issue purchase orders from QuickFile accounting software. Let's have a look. To add a new supplier, we need to go to purchases section, and here to create a supplier, we need to click on create new supplier. Once we will have a multiple suppliers, we'll be able to view suppliers by going through this section. So let's create a new supplier. We are presented with contact card which we need to fill in. So firstly, there is top section called supplier details. This is the main general information about supplier. Next section is contact details. This is the details of the person who we can reach on behalf of supplier. And also there is third section which would include bank details of the supplier, so we know who we need to pay when invoice is due for a payment. So let's start to fill in details at the top. Firstly, let's add company name. So in my case, I have Blush Limited. If I have company available on company's house, when I click on search company's house, all details like address and company number will be automatically pulled through from company's house into QuickFile accounting software. In my case, I will add details manually. So I will have Fashion Street in London with a postcode below. And also I will have company number randomly created. So fill in details, address and company number. Supplier reference is automatically generated by system. If you wish to use different references, just amend these details there. Okay. Next one, default purchase category. That's where the costs need to be showed up. So for example, if you have created separate cost of sales streams, then click on this drop-down list and select the one which you want to apply to this supplier. So this supplier for me is costs will go to general purchases. But when I will add a rent limited, then their default purchase category will be under rent. So firstly, purchase general purchases for this supplier. Next one, default terms. That is the payment terms and conditions that have been agreed between you and supplier. In my case, they have given me 7 days time to pay for this supplier invoice. Okay. If you use project tags, you can add here, otherwise leave blank. And if this supplier is not a new supplier, it has an opening balances from previous system or maybe spreadsheets that you have used, then add it here on this field, otherwise leave blank. Next section is contact details. So fill in details about this contact person who you can reach out from Blush Limited, like in my case from Blush Limited. So I will have Chris Green and I will add my email address so I can distribute out purchase orders to this person. Okay. And also I can provide bank details here. So I will have their bank with this code and this sort code. So fill in bank account details in this field. If you don't have bank details yet, you can fill in details, of course, at a later time when you need to go and amend account. Once you have filled in details in above all sections, then click Save Details. Now, when we go to Purchases and we click on View Suppliers, we'll be able to see all list of suppliers. So firstly, if you have multiple suppliers and you select all of them, you can delete selected or you can export data and they will be exported as CSV information. You can see details available here and we can view this supplier by clicking on View option. We are brought into suppliers like environment. On left hand side you can see details and contact details from about the supplier, and on the right hand side there is details about activity in their account. So once supplier invoices will be added and what I have paid and not paid will show up here, so you will be able to see activity in this area. Also, I can create a new purchase orders or invoices directly from this supplier account. So my supplier is Blush Limited. So from this account, I can automatically create one of these and including sending letters if we need to. Also, I can view any invoices, purchase orders, letters or company report about this supplier. I can modify supplier details, so if you need to change details, add bank details, click on modify supplier details and you will be brought back to supplier contact card. Under more options, we have option to add a prepayment. So for example, if I have paid the deposit to this supplier, but I haven't received any invoices yet, I can add a new prepayment from their account from here. I can merge multiple supplier accounts, so if I need to merge their records, I can do it through this option. And also I can look at company's house report and delete this supplier if required. So now once we went through and we added supplier, we can actually create a purchase order. So to add a purchase order, of course we can create a new and purchase order here from this supplier, but we can also add the purchase orders from this section and enter new purchase order. But before I create purchase order, I can make my life a little bit easier if I would create my purchase inventory list. So there is purchase inventory list, and here I can actually already add items what I would purchase from my suppliers. So click on create, add item name. So for example, I will have a lipstick. Description, I will have Rita K makeup lipstick set of 5, and costs of this set to me is £40, and currently I have 0 in available in stock. Don't forget to change your category. So if you want to do inventory management, then you will choose category as a stock, and then once you send to your customers the stock, you would post a journal. In my case, this will go directly to general purchases, so I don't keep stock management at the beginning. So I will keep directly to my cost, to my profit and loss statement. Once you have entered details here, click save. Okay, so now I have added item list for makeup lipsticks. The same would be about mascaras and blushers and toners and etc. All those I can create in list below and add unit costs. Okay, so now I can issue a purchase order. So I will go to purchase orders and click on enter new purchase order. I need to select my supplier. It doesn't provide a supplier drop-down list, so I need to type in supplier by selecting here, or I can add completely new supplier by clicking new from this little icon. Okay, so I have Blush Limited. I need to issue purchase order, so purchase order is automatically generated by system, and issue date in my case is 1st of August. Now under general purchases, this is where my costs would go when I would convert this purchase order to supplier invoice. I can add a manually description, or when I click on this search loop, I can search in my inventory. So I will search by 3 letters, there is drop-down list provided, and details are pulled in automatically. So unit cost is 40 and quantity is 10 sets what I have ordered at the moment. I'm not VAT registered business, it's why my VAT is 0, and this is my total of purchase order amount. Okay. Project tags, if you use, you can add those here, and also any additional notes can be provided there. Once you have filled in details above, click save details. Okay, so now I can go and view my purchase under view purchase orders. Here's my purchase order. So if I have multiple purchase orders, I can select multiple and delete selected. I can update tags for all this batch selection, and under more options I can archive selected purchase orders, export or show nominal postings if you are interested in how it's been posted in ledgers. Okay. Also, current status of this purchase order is draft, and if you click on this little triangle in drop-down list, we can make a copy of this purchase order or completely delete if we wish to. So current status is draft. I want to distribute out to my suppliers. So if I click on this purchase order, I can see in big blue letters written draft. So I can send it out and it will send the status or change the status. But before I send it out, I can modify this purchase order. So for example, I need to add notes or references. It's quite early to convert this purchase order to invoice yet, but I can print and download and distribute it in different ways. Maybe I want to hand it personally, or maybe I want to send via different information communication channels what I use, maybe like WhatsApp or Messenger. Or under more options, I can still make a copy of this purchase order or delete this purchase order as well. So in my case, I will click on send. If you don't want to send this purchase order automatically as you have printed and downloaded, this is the way how you can mark this purchase order as sent without actually sending it out of system. In my case, I will send it out. Okay, so purchase order has been sent out. So when I go back to my purchase order list, status has changed to sent now. And I can make another copy if I need to provide purchase order for different items for the same supplier. So in this episode, I showed you how you can add new suppliers, how you can issue purchase orders, and make life a little bit easier of creating your purchase item list on QuickFile accounting software. As I mentioned, I have additional team members, 2 team members who help me to run my makeup artist business. And those are 2 girls who actually comes to me and works on like self-employed basis. So they would issue invoices on a weekly basis for the work what they have done in my salon. So because I have also salon, I incur business expenses, running expenses like rent, utility bills, as well as phone and internet bills. So how I can add those on my QuickFile accounting software? Plus, I have taken on a course to educate girls about recent trends regarding body art in case if they need to go to a fashion show and help me. So how I can add supplier invoices, bills or purchases, how I can add these supplier invoices in a bulk, and how I can set up recurring bill. In my case, it would be for a course which will run for 3 months for my girls. So how I can perform these tasks on QuickFile accounting software. So how we can add a standard supplier invoices or bills on QuickFile accounting software. We need to go to purchases section and click on enter new purchase. From here, if I have supplier available on my supplier list, type first letters and drop down list will provide with all available. Otherwise, click on new. In my case, I have rent limited. So rent limited and click save. Later you can go and add more details about the supplier on supplier list. Okay, so rent limited, receipt number, supplier reference. I have rent 2022-08. Invoice date is the 1st of August and payment due is on 31st of August. Now I can select a category, so let's search by rent. Category, it's mean where we want these costs to be recorded. I have monthly rent and add the total amount, 550. Okay. If I want to add tax, I can add, otherwise leave blank. And if this invoice has been paid already, I can actually tick as paid in full and add details from which bank account it's been paid, what was the method. Bank transfer is the most common one, and I can add notes if I wish to. So in my case, I will not mark this as paid, we'll manage it a little bit later, okay? And click save details. Okay, so this purchase has been recorded now with supplier reference. To add a new, we need to click on enter new purchase. So I have another one, which is utilities. Utilities limited. I will click save. Reference. Select date. Due date for this supplier is actually 7 days. And now I can select category. It's in alphabetical order in drop-down list, so I can check by, I will select heating costs. Yeah, because I don't split out. Utilities include all of my costs. I will select other heating costs. Description. Add amount. Okay. And save details. So now if I go to purchase list, I can view them under show all purchases. Here I can see my utilities and my rent bill. So if I click on this reference number, I'm able to modify this purchase or supplier bill or supplier invoice. I can add a payment, I can print or download. Under more options, I have option to add a credit note, set up recurring, make copy, show recordings, nominal ledger entries, so debits, credits, and delete this invoice. To attach support document, we need to go to this section. So for example, I have monthly rent bill, click on browse, select your rent bill. So I have rent bill here. And this would upload support document here below. If I want to delete it, click on this cross and you will be able to reattach correct file if required. Also, clicking on this search loop, you'll be able to view details. So here is recent events, and I can also add notes if required. So if I go back to my all purchases, I can see that attachment being marked with this little paper page. So I know that I have attached support document for rent limited. To attach file for utilities, scroll a little bit down, click on browse, find your invoice, attach it. It have been attached there. And when I go back to my purchase list, I can see it's been attached there. Okay. So now they're currently in status unpaid. If I select these purchases, I can actually delete them or update as paid and add dates. And also under more options, there is more things to take action on if you wish to. Okay, so this is how we can add the general invoices. So how I can actually add an invoices in bulk. So for example, Lily, one of my team members, have invoiced me on a weekly basis. So under purchases, we have option to bulk purchase entry. Here I need to actually select a supplier, or when I click on this pen, I can see which suppliers I actually have. So I don't have Lily on my list, so I would need to add a Lily as a supplier. So I will create a new supplier. I will call Lily Green and I will save details. Okay, so now if I want to add bulk purchase entry, I can select the supplier. So from my list, I have Lily Green there. So I can add bulk invoices based on one supplier. So one supplier, multiple invoices. And also I can flag invoices as paid. So in my case, I will flag invoices as paid, and they've been paid actually from my petty cash because I have daily sales. So at the end of week, I actually pay to my team members in cash. And I will select pay method as cash. And also I can select show purchase reference number if I want to add there. Okay, so firstly, select the date. So in my case, first invoice what I received was dated 1st of August. Second invoice what I received was dated 8th of August. And when I click on this plus, I can add a third invoice which will be dated 15. So now I can add the details. It will be weekly sales invoice. Okay, that's what's called from supplier, and I can add a reference number. Okay, and I can add amount here. So amount was 350. Next one, Okay, so these supplier invoices are actually Lily sent me invoices, and these are her provided invoice numbers. So you can use the same description what she have used, or the person would be using, or this business would be using in their invoices issued to me. Okay, so I selected as a general purchases as where I want to post, but if you want to amend, click on modify, and in my case this would be direct cost of sales of labor. Okay, so Lily Green is part of my team, but she is a sole trader, so she's like a contractor as well. Okay, and click save purchases. So now when I go to my all purchases list, I can see Lily's invoices have been added there with all descriptions, information, and they've been all marked as paid. So this way how we can enter a bulk purchases. But now if I go to purchases and I look, I can also issue a recurring purchase, and I'm providing a course to my both team members to attend a course limited provided course with new trends about makeup art. So how I can create or set up recurring invoice. So to set up a recurring purchase invoice, we need to go to purchases section and click on recurring purchases. From here, click on create, and then we need to either select supplier available from our supplier list or click on new and add details. So I will search by courses limited, and this has been added already to my supplier list. Receipt number is automatically generated by system. Supplier reference is courses provided contract number. Okay, and receipt date is to date, and payment due date is actually today as well. So they are giving me 0 days payment terms and conditions. Next, I need to select a category, and in this case it is not general purchases but training. So training course. Okay, training costs there, and I need to add a description. So I will say a training course. And it will be called makeup art, and 2 persons. Okay, and costs to me £385 per month. Okay, if you use tax, add it there, otherwise blank, and if you have made a payment, you can automatically mark this invoice as paid. Okay, I will add payment details later. Okay, click save details. Now when I click here to view a purchase receipt, I can convert this receipt into recurring invoice. So now I have issued already invoice dated 15/08, and this is a valid date. Under more options, I can set up a recurring schedule. So if this invoice actually need to be scheduled from other days than 15, so for example on 25th, then change the date, and that will be very first date when recurring invoice should be issued. So in my case, 15/08 is a valid date, but frequency for going forward would be 15th of September as a first recurring purchase invoice date. Okay, and from drop down list you can select how often you can actually, or you want this invoice to be recurring. In my case it is every month. If you want to recur it every week or every second week, or maybe even annually, select one of the choices provided. Okay, and then put in a number. So in my case it will need to occur next 2 months, so September and in October, because August one I have already entered, as you can see below. Okay, and click save profile. So now when I go back to purchases and look on my show all purchases, I can see that course, training course first invoice has been added to system, and there's little icon like a calendar that gives me indications that this is scheduled invoice. So if I go to purchases and look on recurring purchases list now, I can see that there is my recurring invoice, and next due date is 15 September, and it's an unpaid status now. If I need to change occurrence, maybe it will be extended, click on actual invoice, recurring invoice, click more options, and you can update schedule with more details if you need to, or with new details. Okay, so This is a way how you can add standard bills or invoices or purchases, as well as invoices in bulk, how you can enter supplier invoices in bulk, and how you can set up recurring purchases or bills or supplier invoices on QuickFile accounting software. So many things have happened in my business while I've been away. Firstly, Blush Limited have sent me a supplier invoice with my lipsticks. So how I can convert purchase orders to a supplier invoice. Secondly, while I was away, I was actually keeping all my receipts in this pocket. So how I can upload receipts and convert us to expense on QuickFile accounting software. Quite a lot of here. And third point is that one of my suppliers have sent me actually a credit note. How I can enter a supplier issued credit notes on QuickFile accounting software as well. So let's have a look on all these three tasks. Firstly, converting purchase order to supplier invoice or bill. Secondly, recording receipts as expenses. And thirdly, recording credit notes. How I can convert purchase order to a supplier invoice or to a bill. The way how we can do it, we need to actually go to actually purchase order. So let's go through purchases and view our purchase orders. So I have received an invoice for this purchase order. So click on this purchase order and click on convert to invoice. So currently we are on purchase order. When I will click on convert to invoice, I can create invoice here. So there is pop-up message, click OK, and purchase order have changed to purchase, and it's completely converted it and marked it as a paid. So now I have a couple of options. I can modify if I need to modify this purchase or bill or supplier invoice, if you want to say so. We can log a payment, so we can add a payment if we have paid for it. We can print or download if we need to. Or under more options, we can create a credit note, set up recurring, make a copy, show ledgers, so debits and credits, transaction lines, and also we can delete this invoice. So now if I go to actually my purchase list, and when I look at this invoice, the date of this invoice was 15/8, but actually it should be dated 1st of August. So I will click on this receipt and I will click on modify. And when I'm in modify, I can add the supplier reference. So invoice number in my case is Blush 345, and date of this invoice is actually 1st of August. Okay, don't want to change anything else above, and I will click save details. So now when I go to my purchase list, I can see that Blush has dropped to this section now, and it's still an unpaid status, and date of receipt is 1st of August. If I need to attach support document, click on actual supplier invoice and add attachment here. So now talking about attachments, I have that whole long batch of receipts. I can upload them, so I have already sent to my desktop, to my computer, receipts which I want to upload and add to my QuickFile. So under purchases, there is a section called Receipt Hub. When I click on Receipt Hub, I can click on Browse and attach support documents. So I will attach my receipts. I have this receipt. Okay, I need to attach one by one. So okay, so this receipt has been added. I will attach another receipt, which is materials. Okay, and then is third, which is meals. So now I can tag these expenses. Firstly, I can edit information of these expenses. If I want to change something, just amend details there. And we can tag this expense. So to tag, click tag me. And on left hand side will be details, and on right hand side I need to add an amount. So 1635 is this receipt, and click enter. Okay, and I will click create new purchase. So now I can fill in details. So supplier, I will have, okay, I don't have supplier, so I need to add myself as a supplier first. And I cannot add suppliers from this screen, so I need to go to purchases and add myself under view suppliers. I will add, because I claimed expenses, so I will create my supplier card. We'll call Rita K, and I will purchase category default to travel. So traveling. Okay, and click save details. So now I need to go back to my receipt hub. So there is all my free receipts. I will click tag me, put amount 1635 and press enter. Okay, create new purchase. Now I can select myself as a supplier. Description, I will call claim. Okay, and travel meal. Okay, I can add supplier reference number, so I will add a order number, so 7317. Receipt date, I know it's 28 January, but I couldn't find a recent receipt, so add a date. So in my case it will be, I will call 5th of August for this test purposes, and due date I will select the same due date, so it will be 5th of August. Category is traveling, and I don't use tax in my accounting for my business, so I will leave blank. And I can actually mark the item as has been paid in full. In my case it hasn't been paid yet. We will cover it part of bank reconciliations, and click create new purchase. Okay, next receipt 3335, enter and create new purchase, and I will add myself because I claimed. Description, I had office supplies, reference number of this receipt we'll put as 210, and I will select the same receipt date, 5th. Okay, and category in this case it will be office. Is there miscellaneous? Stationery? Yeah, there is stationery. Okay, and create new purchase. Okay, next one I have 3335. I added this one already. Up, scanning for purchase orders, there isn't, and I will create new purchase. I will add, as I said, I will add myself. Okay, so now when I'm in my receipt hub, all these purchases or expenses have been tagged and expenses recorded. Okay, and there is the details provided, so how they've been recorded, what is the reference number of these purchases. So if I go to my purchase list, I can see all these free expense claims added there, and also there is showing that there is attached documents as well. So now I have converted purchase order to a supplier bill, as well as added these receipts, uploaded receipts, and converted to an expenses and recorded on my QuickFile accounting software. But also in meantime, while I was away, I received a credit note for for one of the invoices. So now how I can actually issue a credit note? Firstly, I need to find my invoice, which is Fashion Limited invoice, and I cannot see it there. Okay, so let's create invoice for Fashion Limited. Okay, so there is this invoice, and I have received a credit note for this invoice for £50 for damaged goods. So how we can enter a credit note? If we click on this supplier invoice and click on more options, we can add credit note here. So I will add a credit note, okay, general purchases, material supplies, and I received credit note for £50. Credit note date is dated actually 8th of August, and click Save Details. Okay, and I will be applying this credit note to this invoice, and I will click Save. So now when I go to my purchases, I'm clicking on Show All Purchases. I can see that there is a credit note for 50 and it's in purple, and there is my makeup invoice there. If I click on this 500, it changes that only 450 is due for a payment on this invoice. So only invoices who've got partially paid, you will be able to click on them and see what is outstanding balance. So this is a way how we can also enter a supplier credit notes. If we need to record a payment on account, just click either on this invoice. For example, if you need to record payment, click on log payment there, and you can add the details how much been paid to this supplier. Or if we go to our suppliers, so if I go to suppliers and click on Blush Limited, I can add a new payment by creating under more options. I can new prepayment add here. So now we covered purchases section. Okay, while I wait on my next customer at my salon, let's check out my emails. So I have received a couple of supplier bills, and there is a cooperation email. So, dear Rita, we are interested in your branded line items. We're looking forward to hear from you soon. I just received a cooperation email from Shop Limited, and they're asking me to send a quote to them, or in QuickFile terms, estimate invoice to them about my branded line items. They're requesting for 10 of each from each branded line items that I'm selling. So that's quite reasonable. So how I can add a new customers on QuickFile accounting software and issue estimates, or you can call them as a quotes. To add a new customer on QuickFile accounting software, we need to go to Sales section, and from here, to create a new client, we need to click on this subsection. Client's card is quite long, so there is a general details section, and then it's followed up by contact details. If you want to send emails with invoices or quotes, estimates from QuickFile accounting software, you need to make sure that you have actually added an email address. So let's start from the top. Let's add client name. In my case, client is Shop Limited. If you click on Search Company's House, details about Shop Limited will be pulled through automatically. So if Company's House hold an address details and company number, it will be automatically added here, and you do not need to enter details. In my case, I will decide to go a long way and I will add manually. So I will have a local street, London, postcode, and my company number, what I been provided from Shop Limited. Okay, if you have phone number or fax number, you can provide it there, and also you can amend numeric format. So for example, you prefer to split full numbers from decimal with comma or dots, select which you more prefer to use. Okay, default language is English, but you can select other language if you wish to. There is a couple of provided, looks like 14, 16. Okay, if you want, you can already allocate a default sales category. So in this case, I have Shop Limited, and it would be falling in my sales of products. So if you have amended chart of accounts to separate sales products and sales services, like revenue from products and revenue from services, select the one which is appropriate. So I have sales product. And default payment terms, I'm giving 7 days to this customer to pay their invoice. Okay, if you have opening balance or you want to use credit limits, you can enter those here, otherwise leave blank. And you can select how you want to distribute invoices. Either you want to send via email or use a post. If you use post, you will have an option to use QuickFile snail mail option, where they would print and send invoices to customers on behalf of you. In my case, I will use email. Okay, also I want every email what I send out from systems that they would attach invoice in PDF format, not only invoice statements and estimates as well. And I can if you want to enforce clients to log in on client portal, select this box, otherwise leave it unticked. And the same will apply for if you want to disable automated overdue invoice reminders, which I want. I don't want to chase my customers, I can chase them by myself. Then decide if this box needs to be ticked. Tax section is available there as well, and contact details I will put as John Smith, and email address I will provide as okay, and save details. So once you have filled in details above, click save details. So now if I go to my list of clients, so view clients, I can see Shop Limited there. So when I click on this client, on left hand side of this table, there is details and contact details provided. I can create new, so I can create new invoice, multi-entry invoices or recurring invoices, as well as send letters from this customer account. I can view if I have already issued invoices or estimates, then I just can select this customer's, let's say, estimates or maybe statements. I can modify client details. In that case, I will be brought back to this contact card, and then I can update details. Don't forget to click update details below there. And then there is also option to under more options to add a prepayment. So for example, the customer have paid the deposit but invoices haven't been issued yet, then I can add a prepayment on account, merge client record, similar like I'm able to do on supplier account. I can watch or see company's house report and delete this client. On this right hand side in these two tables, I can see how how this customer actually performing. So what is the total invoiced, what was received, and what is the balance, as well as how many if there is prepayments and invoice balance in amounts. So if there is £1,000 and prepayments were made for 500 and there is 500 still outstanding. Yeah. So this is about client. So how I can issue an estimate to this client now? Firstly, I can issue estimate directly from their account, from client's account, or I can click on sales and click on create new estimate. Okay, there is new estimate. Select client name, so I have Shop Limited as my customer. Okay. Estimate number is automatically generated by system. I can also quote a purchase order number if customer have provided, otherwise leave it blank. My estimates date is the 1st of August. I can modify client name and client address if I wish, otherwise leave blank. You can provide a discount by adding details here, otherwise leave at 0%. If you want, you can also add a sales items list, so you just search by item and you will be able to fill in details automatically. To do so, you need to go to sales and click on sales inventory, and in similar way like we added purchase inventory list, the same will can add sales inventory list there. Okay, I will add description for this quote for Shop Limited for all my makeup branded items what they asked me to send. So I will fill in main body. So firstly, if you need multiple lines, you can click on plus and multiple lines will be added. If you do not need those lines, just click on those crosses and those lines will be deleted. If you have items, item lists, you will be able to select, otherwise just type in descriptions there. Plus every line you can also change a category, so click on this setting icon and you will be able to change different income stream category if you need to. And also if you have multiple, like I don't know, 20 lines and you want to add a break after a particular line when you enter, you can choose one of those options. And if you need to provide a comment next to particular line, then you can convert after that line, convert to comment line, and that would not add total to your total invoice. So, okay, let's add a description line. So I have 4 items what I want to send estimator quote for to Shop Limited. So first one is lipsticks, then I have mascaras, eyeshadows, and also my makeup brush sets. So I will provide details now below, okay? Okay, so I have added all 4 lines for 10 of each of my professional makeup items what I'm selling. So this estimate will be in a draft status at the moment. So now I can add a project tags. I don't use projects, but if you use, you can add those here. I can provide also additional notes on payment terms, but not for estimate at this moment. And if you add any information there, you can tick this box and any details will be saved for future estimates, okay? I can save details, I can preview this estimate or preview and send. So when I click preview and send, this estimate number 1, I have an option. I can send this estimate by email. I can use QuickFile available option used to snail mail. Or I can flag this estimate as sent. So if I send estimate by email, there is email provided, I can CC myself in and I can send it out. Okay, so now when I go to my estimates list, so estimates there is my estimate and it is in status as sent. I can make a copy, I can convert to invoice, which would be too early at this moment. I can revert it to draft and amend details if required. I can print or download, and also I can delete this estimate if I wish to. So now we should estimate and add that new customer. And as I mentioned, there is the sales inventory option. If you click on inventory lists, for example, if I click on purchase order items, I can see all purchase order items what I provided already for purchase orders. For sales items, would need to do the same process. Click on create, add item name, description, unit costs and quantity. And don't forget to change your category. So in this case, category for me would be sales as products, and click save. So this is a way how we can create inventory list and add the new customers, as well as issue estimates or quotes to these customers on QuickFile accounting software. So Shop Limited have came back to me and have requested to issue a sales invoice. So instead of issuing just a standard invoice and re-entering all details again, I can actually convert my estimate to an invoice with a couple of clicks. Also, I need to issue an invoice to a customer who just left with her evening makeup, and also a TV show hostess have requested a set time slot every Friday for next 6 weeks. So she wants her makeup to be done before her show goes live, so she looks amazing. So how I can convert estimates to invoices, add the standard sales invoices, as well as how I can set up a recurring sales invoices on QuickFile accounting software. So let's have a look at these 3 tasks or operations. So first steps first, let's convert our estimate to a sales invoice. To do so, we need to go to estimates list first. So let's go to estimates through sales section, and first estimate for Shop Limited need to be converted to an invoice. So I have clicked on this estimate, so estimate number 1, and there is a button called convert to invoice. And now I can auto send invoice, let me tweak it first, or create a recurring profile. In my case, I will say this time that let me tweak it first time, because when I converted a purchase order to a supplier invoice, it took today's date, so I need to change it. So let me tweak it first. And now I have an option to change an invoice date, and I will amend as an invoice date to 8th of August. There is no purchase reference to use unless I want to use an estimate number. I can note it there, and I will not do any changes to any of these subtotals. I'm quite happy. I will click preview and send, and I can send via email, or I can flag invoice as sent if I have given it to my customer. Okay, so now if I go to sales and I look at my all sales, show all sales, there is my invoice. Okay, when I click on this invoice, under more options, I have an option also to get a delivery note. So when I will send out all my lipsticks, I can actually I will be able to get this delivery note and send out with stock what I will send out to a customer. Okay, so now how I can actually add a standard sales invoice. So for makeup, what I've done, like evening makeup, what I've done to my client who left my office quite recently. So to add a new sales invoice or issue new customer invoice, just click on create new invoice. Here select the client name if you have one, or if it's completely new client, add a new here. So I have Anita and Anita T. Okay, I can add account reference, I can add address, town, postcode and phone number, and save client. Okay, so now there is my new client. Invoice number is automatically generated by system, and invoice date is 8th of August in my case. Payment terms was payable immediately. Okay, description, I had evening makeup. Evening makeup. What's happening? Okay, unit cost was £150 and quantity 1. Okay, I do not need second line, so I can click on this cross and preview and send. Okay, now I can flag this invoice as sent. Okay, and if I know that this customer paid, in which ways it paid, I can log a payment and add details there. For this moment, I will leave it out of scope for the moment. We will cover it under bank reconciliations. Okay, so when I go to my sales list, I can see shop limited and evening makeup as well. Also, I need to set up recurring invoice for this TV show hostess, and to do so we need to go to sales and click on recurring invoices. From here, click create. I have new client called Lucy Brown. It's the same, I can provide address details and phone numbers there and click save client. Okay, so there is Lucy. Frequency, this is where I can select how often this invoice need to be issued. In my case, it will be weekly for next 6 weeks. So firstly, start date, we'll select 15th, so I will need to issue invoice for last week. So 15th from this week. Occurrence, next 5 times, because first one was for the week starting of 8. I will manually add invoice there. Okay. Weekly 5 times, and payable I will say immediately. Okay, and send by email, in this case it will be done. So now I will add evening makeup, and unit cost is 150 and quantity is 1. If I want to apply a discount, I can add a discount here. So for example, if I provide discount of 25%, discount will be calculated and added there. So if I give 25%, Lucy will owe me 112.50. Okay, and likewise can add any other information and click save details. Now if I go to my recurring invoices, I can see that this invoice start date will be 15th of August and currently is in draft status. So when I click on this recurring invoice, I need to click on activate, otherwise recurring invoice will not start. So click activate, click OK, and now this has been activated. If you need to come and do changes, go on actual recurring invoice, modify template. You can also pause it, so stop it for a time being, and under more options we can enable manual approvals, delete this template, and also see if who changed and who made changes to this particular recurring invoice template. So if I go back to my recurring invoices, then schedule information has been updated. So next invoice due is on 15th of August and it will expire on 12th of September. So now I need to add the invoice to Lucy Brown for services what was provided in from week 8. So okay, to do so we need to go to sales, create new invoice. I will search by Lucy. Invoice date was 8. Okay, and preview and send. And I will flag invoice as sent. Okay, so when I go to my sales list, Lucy's invoice is here for 112.50, which includes also discount. So in this section I showed you how you can issue sales invoices, how you can convert estimates to a sales invoice, as well as how to set up a recurring sales invoice on QuickFile accounting software. Okay, so my makeup bag is packed and also my laptop with information is here. So I need to go to another event, but Events Limited have requested to issue separate invoices for previous weekend what I attended, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So how I can issue invoices in bulk on QuickFile. Also, if I need to issue a credit note and add any payments on account, because customers have paid me in advance as a deposit, how I can record these as well. So let's have a look at last section on sales about adding invoices in bulk, recording payments, either they can be deposit payments or payments that have been made before actually invoices have been issued, as well as how we can issue a credit note. And I'm ready to go. Last weekend I attended Events Limited arranged a fashion show, so I need to issue 3 invoices for each day separately, but there is an easier way how we can do it. So under sales there is an option of bulk invoice entry. Here we need to select the client, so in my case I had Events Limited, and also if I need to amend this different like revenue stream or income stream. So in my case, it would be as a services, okay? I can flag invoice as sent as well. I can flag invoice as paid and show purchase reference box if I want to, okay? Otherwise just deselect and deselect. So I will flag invoices as sent because I would hand them when I would go for another event. So, okay. Firstly, I need to issue 3 invoices, so I need another line. So another line, click on this plus sign. So now I will have 3 separate invoices issued to Events Limited. Need to select date, so in my case it was 5th, it was 6th, and it was 7th of August. Description line, makeup services. Okay, and the same will apply description for each of those days. You can add different description lines if you need to. In my case, for this, I provided the same services for all 3 days, okay? And I can add a total amount. In my case, it was 780 daily rate for makeup services, what I provided in this event. Once you have added all information above, click Save Invoices. Okay, so now when I go to my invoice list, I can see all Events Limited invoices created one by one. So if I click on this invoice, this is how it looks like, and it has been marked as sent. Okay, so now how I can add a deposit payment. So if someone have paid me deposit, how I can add it? So there are a couple of ways. Either I can go to actual invoice and log a payment, like in this case for this invoice, I would be able to log a payment. Or if I go to actual client's card, so in my case I have Shop Limited, and they have paid me. So there is an option that I can, under more options, add a prepayment. And this prepayment I can add, and they have made £3,100. And they paid into my current account, and they paid on actually 10th of August, and method was bank transfer, and I can click save. Okay, so there is prepayment added for £3,100. So if I go to sales and look at my sales list, and there is invoice for 6,200. When I click on this invoice, I can log a payment, and there is an option to actually record this prepayment what I logged or on their account. So I will click apply from a credit and click save. So now 3,100 been applied, so only 3,100 are left to pay. So if I go to all invoice list, and this amount got like a dotted line under, so if I click on this number, it only shows that 3,100 is due from this customer for me to receive, and also status what has been changed to partial. Okay, so this is a way how we can allocate deposit payments or add deposit payments on account for particular customer. But third point is, one of the customers have requested a credit note, and it was Dominica. So actually we issued invoice to her so she could pay for it before she attended her appointment. But unfortunately she cancelled it, so I need to issue a credit note. The easiest and quickest way to issue a credit note is to actually click on this invoice, and under more options, click on credit note. And If you want to add more details, you can provide an additional note. Otherwise, select the correct credit note date. I will keep a 15th of 08 and I will preview and send. And I will allocate this £50 credit note to this particular invoice. I will say yes, save it. Okay, and okay, so now if I go to my all sales list, there is a credit for £50, and when I click on this makeup list amount, it doesn't change, but you can see that this changed color and it's saying that it's fully been credited. So this is the way how we can issue invoices in bulk for a particular customer, how we can issue credit notes if we need to from to our customers, and add a payment either to add particular invoice or on add on clients or customers account. And this covers sales section in overall. Oh, what a busy weekend. Another trip completed, but it was worth it. It was such an amazing fashion show and I learned a couple new things as well. While I was on train back to my city, I noted a couple points down because it actually soon will be month end, and that would mean that I will need to create a couple of reports, and without performing some admin tasks, I might have a not full and correct visibility about my reports. So, firstly, how I can post journals if I need to do some corrections or adjustments, as well as how I can post a standard journal. For example, if I would have a team and I would run a payroll on different accounting software, for example, how I can actually post these kind of standard journals. Also, I have actually a cash register, so on daily basis I have some cash which I need to record on the QuickFile accounting software, so how I can record my daily sales. And before I issue actually customer statements at the end of month, I need to Reconcile Bank, right? I need to make sure that I have allocated all incoming payments or all incoming money in my bank account, as well as in cash register, to a customer issued invoices. And the same would apply for any payments what I have made, so they're actually allocated to either expenses or supplier invoices. So let's have a look how I can perform these admin tasks on QuickFile accounting software. So month end is approaching very quickly and we need to perform a couple more admin tasks before we can look at reports. First of them are how we can post journals. So for example, if I need to do a correction as some of costs have been entered in wrong category. So for example, if I look at my purchases and I look at post limited invoice, so where is my post limited invoice, there is postage costs, view all invoices, then I can see that instead of categorizing this under postage and shipping or delivery charges, I have posted by mistake under packaging. So how I can correct it? Of course, one of the ways would be to click on modify and select correct category. But if for some reason you have no access to amend invoices on system, and only way how you can correct is post a journal, since this is a way how we can do it. So I will copy description and let's go to journals under reports. So reports, and there is a journals. To create a new journal, click on this button, and every journal will have at least 2 rows, and one row will represent debit value and one would represent a credit value. You might have multiple lines on your journal, but minimum is 2 lines, and debit should equal credits, otherwise you will have unbalanced journal and you will be not able to post it. So my journal date will be 15/08 and I will have cost adjustment journal. Okay. If you need to post a reversal journal, so for example, you have received an invoice in August, but cost relates to next month, so you can actually post a journal and put a reverse date. So costs actually reduces out from profit and loss statement, like are being taken out from profit and loss statement in August, but they will show up in September. So this is a reason when you can use auto reverse date. Yeah, use it with caution, by the way. Yeah. So nominal code. Firstly, I had a cost in packaging. I will add a note, postage costs, correction. And because costs been posted in debit, so they've been increased, this time I need to remove costs, so I will need to add in a credit side. So packaging will go into credit side, and I want to post to postage and carriage. It's the same, postage cost correction. Description, and debit will be 20. Now my debits equals credits. I'm happy with my journal and I will click Save Journal Entry. Okay, now I need to add description. Okay, so in notes you can provide more details if required, and Save Journal Entry. So now journal has been saved. So if I go to my reports and click on journals, my cost adjustment journal been posted there. I can view details and I will be brought back to my journal. I have option to delete this journal if this been posted by mistake, or I can set up a recurring schedule for this journal if I wish to. Okay. Also, there is a couple more journals and there are opening balances. And if you recall at the beginning, I added opening balances on 1st of July for my bank and for my cash account. So let's view details. Let's make sure that our opening balances are recorded correctly. So this is opening balance for 2000 and it is in bank account. And currently, other side is posted in suspense account, which is not correct. So that £2,000 actually was my limited company's equity. So I need to go and select correct code where this 2000 should be posted. So it will be in equity side. So scroll till code number 3 and there is ordinary shares, and this is where I want these 2000 to show up. And don't forget to click Save Journal if you do any changes. Okay, now let's go to my journals and let's check petty cash side as well. So view details. This is 150 and it's as well posted currently in suspense account, which is incorrect place to be. And 150 will be, in this case, it will be not equity, but this will be a loans to directors, let's say. Do they have directors loan account? Yes. So once business will repay back 150, this will clear out this amount from this account. Okay, save journal entry. Okay, so now I showed how you can post journals or how you can actually amend journals on QuickFile accounting software. Next point, what I want to cover is actually how we can post a daily sales. So if you have cash register, how we can post daily sales. Under sales, there is enter cash register taking. So there is separate section, easy and simple. And just add date, description and cash total. So in my case, I had a cash sales happening in all first week of August. So on 2nd of August, I will say sales, okay, and I will add amount and it was 285. I will, okay, I needed to add more than only one day, so by adding multiple days, click on these green pluses and it will add more rows. Okay, next day I had 3rd, I had 4th, Also I had 5th and 6th because girls been working busy in these days. And I will have makeup services daily sales. I would have a receipt from cash register to support these cash totals what I'm reporting. So I had 380 there, I had 560 there. This was a very busy day, and Saturday was even busier day, it was 150. Okay, and save details. So when I go back to show all sales list, I can see my all cash register sales recorded here, and they're all being marked as paid because they're actually cash register sales will go in my cash account. Okay, so journals posted, cash sales recorded based on my cash register takings. Also, I need to reconcile bank, right? Before I actually send out customer statements, I need to make sure that my bank reconciles. And to reconcile bank, we will need to go to banking section. Okay, so how we can reconcile bank? So under options, we have option to import from file. Okay, here we can choose a file. So in my case, I had other as a bank type, so I need to find this other there. Okay, I will choose a file, so my bank statement is there as a CSV. I will open and I will upload. Now I need to specify what is in column 1, column 2 and column okay, so transaction date is in column 1, description is in column 3 in my case, and amount is actually in column 2. So once I'm happy with these details, I can confirm an entry. Okay, so now one of the transactions might conflict with existing transaction. Yeah, because J and K I actually marked as pay. So what I can say, skip this conflict. There is shop limited 3100. Okay, save no conflict here. Okay, so there is 14 transactions what we need to reconcile. So let's go to our bank current account. And there is all transactions what we need to tag or delete. So first things first, there is payment from shop limited 3100, and I imported from my file as well. So you can see if I manually added, there is this like a little arrow. If there is a cloud, that means that they're being already uploaded from a bank account. So in my case, I can actually delete this line by clicking on that red cross. Okay, so I'm happy with this transaction amount. Next one, what we need to do is look at one by one. So I can see tagged and untagged transactions. So 3100 I'm happy, 250 I'm happy as well there, and there is a deposit. Okay, so let's go one by one. So courses limited, we need to tag this transaction. Tag means reconcile. We need to allocate to particular customer or supplier. So courses limited is a supplier, so I need to tag it. Click tag me, and payment to supplier. So there is more options. We can record as a refund to a customer. This might be salary, dividend or other drawings. It might be transfer between accounts, or it's been a tax payment to HMRC, as mentioned in the brackets, or this is something else not in this list. So maybe like bank fees will be falling under this category. So in my case, first one is payment to a supplier, and system tries to find out closest match, and there is one supplier invoice what matches this payment, and to mark it as a pay, click to pay. And okay, so that transaction has been tagged now or reconciled in accounting terms. Lucy Brown, tag me, and it is payment from customer, and there is 2 invoices. In my case, this should be the oldest invoice dated 808, and I will click to Oh, okay, that is 15. So this is matching with 15. I'll click OK. Next one is bank fees. So I will click tag me. This is not payment to supplier, neither it's refund to a customer, and not falling in any of these three categories. So this will be something else not on the list. And in this case, I can create a rule, and it is bank charges. Okay. And I can select where I want to post in my nominal or in an expense category, and this will go to bank charges. So let's look at bank charges. There is bank charges 20, and I will click save. Okay, so next one I have fashion limited. I have sent 450. I will tag me, and this is payment to a supplier. Okay. Okay, I will review this one. I think so that was a invoice with a credit note. Okay, expense paid 83.50, so I will click tag me, and this one is payment to a supplier. Again, we'll need to go to my account and add manually because it doesn't allow to record transaction. Okay. So cash deposit is 2,000. So this being deposited from my cash account. So I will click this one as a back transfer between accounts, and it's been transferred from my petty cash, and I will click save. Okay. Next one is events limited. I will click tag me, and I will mark this one as a payment from customers. There have been 2 invoices. Allocate to client. This is events limited, and there is multiple of invoices. So there have been 2 invoices paid out of 3. There is nothing to unallocate, and I will click save. So now 2 invoices been marked as paid. So let's check for this expense. Payment to supplier. I will look for Rita K. And there is all 3 expenses, so I can actually mark all 3. Amount has been drawn to 0, and 8305 is allocated, and I can click save. Okay, so the same will be for fashion limited, because actually it was with credit card, so credit note. So let's check fashion limited. There is 450 and save. So okay, so that's tagged. Next one is Lucy Brown. This invoice is dated 0808 to payment to customer, and click to pay next to it, and let's allocate. Fine. Anita, it should be 1 invoice available. It's the same way. And there is shop limited part 2. So shop limited. Okay, there is 2 invoices left for 800, so I have 800 allocated, and I will click save. So I'll allocate a partial amount to that customer invoice. Yeah. Next one is Blush Limited 1800. Payment to supplier. There is 1800. Let's allocate. Rent bill. I had the rent bill as well available on system. And there is a deposit of 2,300. I will tag payment to a customer. Need to select shop limited. Okay, and now I can allocate to partial left amount there, and click on save. So now I have allocated all amounts there. So if I want to reconcile bank now, I need to reconcile by clicking under options, and under options there is reconcile option. So now I need to add a start period. In my case it was 1st of August, and at 1st of August my balance was 2,000, and end of period in my case is 15th of August, end of today, and end balance for me is 8596.95, and if there is any balance it will pull through and will say that there is this balance. So let's click on go and balance reconcile. So as of today, all these transactions have actually reconciles to my bank account. So now I can go and issue customer statements. So if I can go to sales and click on view clients, let's view events limited, and under view we have an option to view statement. So here is a statement for events limited. It shows that there is only one invoice outstanding for a payment but haven't been paid. There have been total 2.3k invoiced and there was 1.6k as received in payment. So now I can send it out, click on send, and I can send by snail mail, or I can print and distribute in different ways this statement to a customer. So this is a statement in PDF format with outstanding balance of 780. So if I go back to statements and I click on view clients, and if I select multiple customers, like selected all of them, under more options, I can request PDF statements, include paid invoices, payments and credit notes, and I will click confirm. Okay. Okay, and all those statements will be sent to email. So this is a way how you can post journals or amend journals, how we can add a daily sales, record daily sales, reconcile bank, and then send out customer statements once our accounts are reconciled. So invoices have been issued, purchases been registered, as well as bank reconciled. Now I'm ready to look at my overall business performance. The best way it would be, and it will be, if you will look at report section. Not only looking at balance sheet, so your asset position at a certain date, and aging report, which would show information about who you own money or who money owns to you, but also at profit and loss statement. Profit and loss statement will show how I, in my case, have made a profit, or maybe I have made a loss. I hope no. And if I have made a profit, I can look actually at tax summary, which is like an estimate for corporation tax calculation. So let's have a look at report section now. Let's have a look at reports, right? So there is a separate section called reports, and there are multiple reports available, including VAT return. If you are VAT registered business, you can enable HMRC, so connecting to HMRC, as well as company's house details. You can create your custom reports if you wish to, and also overview a project. So let's have a look at balance sheet first. So if I click on balance sheet, I can select the date to which date I want to see this balance sheet. So for example, if I want to see as of 15th of August or maybe 31st July, I can select a particular time frame and click update. So I can look at current assets. So if you would have stock or inventory, you will be able to see balances for your stock and inventory as well. So currently I have debtors control accounts. That means that people own me almost 3.9k, and I have money of 8.6k in my accounts, my accounts here. Under current liabilities, I have director loan 150, and in petty cash is minus 85 at the moment. And credit control account, which means that who I own money, is £170 only. Okay, and then there is also my share capital of 2,000 and profit and loss statement, profit of 10k at the moment, but we will go back to that. Also, we can visualize. When you click on visualize, we can look at particular categories. So for example, looking at current assets, or if I want to look on current liabilities, then I can see a pie chart for it. Okay, Next report is tax summary. Here, this is a net profit for a year, so what profit I have made. So actually I have made a profit for this particular financial year in my case. Then this would be my taxable profit without any deductions or add backs, so just looking at pure number. So estimated corporation tax for me would be 2K for my limited company. Okay. Next report is debtors aging report, so who own me money. So there is Shop Limited and Events Limited who haven't paid me, but they're not due for a payment yet, so they're due in the future. And also I can look at creditors aging reports and who I own money, and I haven't paid to phone, internet and post, as well as utilities limited who I'm overdue £100. Okay, so looking at those all reports, the most important report for me is profit and loss statement, and I already know that I have made a profit of 10K because on balance sheet I could see under retained earnings, and also when I looked on corporation tax it was showing 10K this amount. So now let's have a look at the top. So firstly I have general sales of 3K made, and those general sales included so if I click on this preview I can see what it included. So there are mainly all daily sales from my cash register. Okay, if I go to my product sales are the invoices for issued to Shop Limited for actually my branded line items which will be sold in an online market. Okay, and then I have sales of services which includes invoices issued to Events Limited, attending an event, and also a couple of sales directly what I have made to, no, they're all free for Events Limited 780, so they're part of my services. Okay, cost of sales include general purchases, so they mean also purchases of my branded items, and cost of sales labor is the invoices what I received from my team members, my girls who working as a sole traders. Okay, and then there is third category called expenses, and those would include rent, other heating costs, traveling, postage and carriage, telephone and mobile charges, broadband, internet, stationery, bank charges and training costs. So all these costs which would include it as part other than just the direct costs, which is cost of sales to run my business. So I'm quite happy. I have made 10K profit before tax in this period. It's quite a healthy number. I can visualize it. So if I click on visualize income, so mainly it comes from product sales. So from my branded line I have got a lot of sales, but it doesn't mean that in next month my sales from products will be the biggest part, because I send a lot of items to online shop to sell, so I don't know when they will place next order. Yeah, and if I look at expenditure, general purchases, they mean more of items purchased to resell, like sell my branded items, as well as materials and supplies for office are taking biggest part of my expenses. And then like quarter of pie chart, you can see it's cost of sales labor, which makes sense because I have two members who actually works on a part-time basis or ad hoc basis as a sole traders on my makeup artist business. Yeah, so if you want, you can look also on trial balance. It will provide a code, description, and what activity happened. So there was opening balances and what activity have happened in transaction year and what is the closing balance. Select your particular time frame and don't forget to update to see changes in that particular period what you're looking at. Yeah. So this actually covers reports now. I hope you found my QuickFile accounting software tutorial useful, and it will be a good guide for you to start using this software by yourself. But if you have any questions or require any further advice, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you for watching. and I will see you in next episode.